I tried briefly. Honorable Chairman of the Parliamentary Committee, Portfolio Committee, Mr. Mulisva, honorable members of the committee, distinguished guests, let me impress my gratitude for this invitation of Parliament, invitation to Parliament and your interest to DTZ OZGEO and this operation. I would like, if you allow me, to tell you briefly about background and activity of the company. DTZ OZGEO was established by initiatives on the government of Zimbabwe 94-95. The main goal of the company was to support economic development of the country by creation and various projects in different fields of human activity, while they using technology achievements, experience and funding of Russian partners. One of the major ideas was to ensure that direct participation of Zimbabwean side in activities of the company, from the stage of foundation, where local partners were involved as a owner, to day-to-day management and running of the operation company. So we were one of the first indigenized company in Zimbabwe from 95. So using the opportunity, I would like to assure honorable members of the Parliament that the goals set up in foundation of DTZ OZGEO were implementing, not very fast but sure. DTZ OZGEO was the first example of economical cooperation between Republic of Zimbabwe and Russian Federation. In Russia, these enterprises was considered as a base for attracting Russian investment into Zimbabwe. So the program started in 1995, when I myself first time come to Zimbabwe. The program started from exploration of minerals. It was covered big, very huge area in Zimbabwe for minerals and mainly for diamond. Later, Zimbabwe government offer to prospecting and mining alluvial gold mining, because that time already start illegal panning activity. Not so much like today, but it was already disturbing. So, and we have big prospecting program. As a result, was found some deposit of alluvial gold. It was pilot mining. During 2000, during shortage of this, shortage in fuel, operation was stopped. But just operation was not much, only some analysis and small prospecting. But 2007, they come new investors, and we start our activities. Start very real activity. 2009 was found deposit of diamond and Chimanimani. It was built very modern, maybe one of the best factory, because we use the last technology, high technology of Russia, South Africa, different countries. And in 2013, our alluvial gold mining was ceased, stopped, because of it was program for all alluvial mining operations in Zimbabwe was stopped, not only our company. So, and 2009, когда мы закрыли Алмаз? 2016, same day today, 23 of February, today, this day was closed. Our operation, diamond operation was stopped. Stopped by big group of armed group, police forces and two representatives of Minister of Mines or the CDC. So because of I try very briefly because you said not many times. And during operation, it was traditionally our company very good relation with local government, local chiefs, schools, all local community. We always been together. We always help schools. We built even some orphanage, some number big programs. We have altogether we have around 500 employees. From our employees, we also have around 90% employee was all real local. Maybe radius 60, 70 kilometers, 80 kilometers. All our workers, including qualified workers. We have training program. Many our general workers, many of them, majority, become to qualified operators. Some of them even supervisors. Except this, we sponsor, we send for study, some of our staff, member staff, we sent for study. With sponsorship, even some just clever students from surround, from community. So, we would like to be most grateful to honorable members of the Eastern Parliamentary Committee, Portfolio Committee, for your fair assessment, advice and recommendation that would surely help the company to continue the activity in regards to develop some more projects in Zimbabwe. Thank you. Let me, Mr. Mupaya, Mr. Chan.
Уважаемый председатель, уважаемые члены комитета, уважаемые присутствующие здесь, я рад вас здесь приветствовать и спасибо за приглашение и попытку разобраться в нашей ситуации.
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Minister, Honorable MPs, and all protocol observed. Thank you very much for inviting us to come and present our diamond mining, our previous diamond mining operation. We will try to explain as much as we can the events, what led to the discovery of the deposit, and also the abrupt closure of the mining operation.
Прежде всего я хочу сказать, что наша компания, уже за нашу компанию мистер Шилаев кратко рассказал. И хочу начать рассказ о нашей компании только в том русле, что мы никогда не просили ни у правительства, ни у Министерства горных дел каких-либо преференций. Мы просили территории и сами занимались поиском, самостоятельно находили или не находили месторождения и всегда об этом информировали государство.
Mr. Shliaev has already explained briefly about the operations of our company, but what I want to highlight is that since we came to Zimbabwe, we never would ask for a developed project, but would start from basics, using our ideas to find where we can find a deposit. For example, the one in Penalonga, the gold project as well, and the diamond project. We used our ideas that in this place they could be initially gold, and then we realized that the rocks there were potentially for diamonds, and we discovered the deposit without really asking for a government company to give us part of their discovery.
Значит, до закрытия предприятия нашего, окончательного закрытия, мы вели поиски месторождений, не только золота, но и любых других минералов, порядка, чтобы вам понимать, на 46 тысячах квадратных километров Зимбабве. Это были разные, это были и спецгранты, это были и клеймы, это были чужие территории, там, где нас приглашали, где мы с удовольствием приезжали, изучали, смотрели перспективы. То есть мы не занимались только одной добычей, но и прежде всего в одном русле у нас шла и геологоразведка. И мы считаем это неотъемлемой частью любой серьезной горной компании.
I would like to emphasize that we did not work only in one area, Chimani, but we did our exploration countrywide, including even in claims for other small-scale miners or so who would invite us to assist them. But in the whole country, we were looking at the diverse of the mineral potential in Gweru, Penalonga, and so forth, all the other minerals, until we found these gold and diamonds.
Мы привлекали не только собственные силы, но и в партнерах крупные российские компании государственные, которые, в частности, Алросу, на поиск алмазов, Чимани-Мани и на перспективные вещи. Предлагали это не раз и государству, но привлечь крупные русские компании на эти поиски, ну, как правило, нас не слышали, отказывались, к сожалению.
Okay, during our exploration, we would also invite expert advice from some of our renowned exploration companies in Russia. For example, Aurosa. Aurosa came to our project and will give us expert advice, especially on mineralogy, because this is one of the best companies in the world for diamond exploration.
К сожалению, итог у нас неутешительный. В 2016 году, вот ровно уже 2 года назад, нас закрыли. На сегодняшний момент компания нам не принадлежит. Скажем, да, мы подписали, были вынуждены пойти на переговоры с правительством, хотя не хотели этого и хотели развивать самостоятельно месторождение.
Okay. After all the efforts from drilling which we conducted to the discovery, surprisingly, our operations were closed in 2016. But what it means is today we don't have a mining company. We then had to end up signing some agreements for the mining company, for the diamond project to be taken over by government. Although we did not want, we would have wanted to work the project on our own because we had a vision for development of this project.
К сожалению, контракт, на наш взгляд, мы подписали на жестких и несправедливых по отношению к нам условиях, это первое. И второе, этот контракт до сих пор не выполняется по многим частям наших договоренностей.
Okay. The contract which we signed, or we had to sign for the takeover of our diamond company, was not fair to us, and quite a lot of points have not been adhered to.
Ровно 2 года назад нас вызывали в Министерство горных дел. Мы приготовили письмо, у нас была договоренность с компанией Алроса о том, что нам разрешено продавать на их площадках по более высокой цене, потому что последние годы мы были недовольны реализацией цен алмазов на аукционе в Зимбабве они упали почти в 2 раза против тех цен, когда мы торговали самостоятельно. И мы рассчитывали договориться с Министерством горных дел, вывести наши алмазы и продать на площадках Алросы по более высокой цене. Но в этот же день собрали все алмазные компании, которые... И министр объявил о том, что нас закрыли. Я был вынужден, и останавливаются все операции. Мы были единственная компания, у которой были в этот момент все рабочие документы на продолжение деятельности. То есть уже тогда нас закрыли незаконно. Когда я вышел позвонить своему майн-менеджеру на участок Чимани-Мани, выяснил, что уже в этот момент, еще до оглашения нашего решения, компанию уже, скажем, в компанию пришло порядка 80 вооруженных полицейских. И всех работников в течение целого дня держали под солнцем как преступников, не выпускали никуда. На наши попытки разблокировать все это отвечали категорическим «нет».
Okay. With the vision to develop this company and also get better prices, about 2 years ago, the company approached the Ministry of Mines for seeking for permission to use our ROSA for marketing our diamonds. That is, taking our diamonds and then market them together with our rosas, because those for our rosa have got a name, so many investors will be coming to the our rosas stand. But unfortunately, just after a week, whilst this discussion was still ongoing, we were called to the Ministry of Mines and we were told all operations have been stopped. So that dream of
Sorry, just point off, but who called you from the Ministry of Mines? Who told you that everything had stopped?
Нас вызвали на общее собрание министр горных дел, господин Чудаков.
We were invited by the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Mines, Professor, the then Professor of, permanent secretary of the Ministry of Mines, Professor Gujganga, and the Minister of Mines, then Minister Honorable Chidakwa, for a meeting of all diamond producers. And then this announcement was done.
Нам не было сообщено о повестке этого собрания.
We're not told or warned about the agenda of this meeting before the meeting.
Объявил о закрытии компании министр Чудакова.
The then Minister of Mines, Honorable Chidakwa, is the one who announced the closure of the mining operations. And within a few minutes, after he has done that,
Member, can you just approach the chair? Thank you. Can you approach the chair?
I phoned the mine manager to brief him what was going on, and he told me that already at the mine there were about 80 armed policemen who told everyone to evacuate the mine, leaving all their belongings, laptops and so forth. And then they had to stand at by the offices for some time whilst they were putting their security around the mine. Then they were told to leave.
Когда министр объявил о своем решении, он сделал ссылку на то, что у всех компаний закончились разрешительные документы на добычу и на геологоразведку.
When the minister announced that,
On a point of clarity, when they took over, did you have anything, equipment, diamonds, and if you had anything, what then happened to it?
Господин председатель, майн в этот момент работал. Естественно, мы вели добычу. Были у нас минералы, были алмазы в специальном хранилище, потому что мы на майне не перебирали камни. И был концентрат в бункерах. Потому что работа шла полным ходом, мы не ожидали остановки.
Honorable, there was no handover takeover because everyone, including the mine manager, was just told to leave abruptly. And we still had some diamonds because we were working. So some had not been sorted.
Okay, what about the diamonds you've answered? What about the machinery that you were using?
Да, все это находилось на майне, но всех наших работников в течение дня изгнали с месторождения, и дальше мы все это не контролировали.
Yes, our equipment remained there because all our workers were just told to leave. We had, because we don't have ZESA, that is electricity, we're using diesel. So we had thousands of liters of diesel there. And ferrosilicon for processing the diamonds, and all the machinery were left there, trucks and so forth, including the plant, because it cannot move. And earth-moving equipment, such as bulldozers and excavators.
Я хочу отметить, что мы были единственная компания на тот момент официально, у которой были, как подтвердил нам и министр Чедаква, после нашего официального обращения, у которой были официально рабочие документы с правом еще в течение полугода спокойно работать на месторождении. Нас закрыли незаконно. И мы в письме, буквально на следующий, через день или через два, на министра Чедаква и перманент-секретаря указали на это и приложили копии этих документов.
It was very unfortunate that the mining operations were closed. After the closure of the mining operations, we brought our documents to the minister and permanent secretary, and they tried to explain to them that the license of our diamond operations had not expired, contrary to the allegation, but they did not listen to us.
Thank you, Chairman. I think we need to hear the numbers of dumpers or the excavators which were left at the mine.
Okay, why don't we bring that up after they finished their thing brief to us? Then we can ask those questions in terms of this, in terms of the specifics. In terms of clarity, yes, we could probably come in, but in terms of the real questions, can it come after? You want a point of clarity?
Yeah.
Honorable Oda, yes?
Thank you, Chair. What I was suggesting is that if us as honorable members can just note, let them complete the presentation and just put our questions down. Then we'll go through the point of clarity afterwards.
Yes, you may proceed.
Скажу, у нас были длительные переговоры. Я считаю, наличие вот этих документов, наличие вот этих действующих документов вынудили пойти Министерство горных дел на переговоры с нами, потому что у нас выхода не было. Мы уже поняли, что у нас шахту у нас заберут, а у нас стояли рабочие, у нас были кредитные линии, у нас были обязательства перед поставщиками, которые нужно было выполнять. Несмотря на нас посыпались иски, хотя мы не могли не работать от кредиторов и от прочих. Правильно?
Okay, after this closure, we had to go to the Minister of Mines for discussion to say what is the way forward. Because we had creditors, employees also needed salaries, and we were then involved in a series of negotiations for quite some time whilst the mine was closed.
Не будь у нас этих действующих документов, с нами, я уверен.
Sorry, just on a point of clarity, I think members would want to know, because did you have a special grant? Because there is also the aspect that the special grants had expired, if you recall, members. So was it a special grant you had, was it still valid?
Вот у нас действующие на тот момент, на момент закрытия, специальные гранты, которые в тот момент мы, руководствуясь этими документами, подписанные Министерством горных дел, мы официально работаем. Мы можем предоставить их вам.
Thank you very much. We had a special grant in reserved area 1518 in Chimanimani, which is about 80 kilometers away from Chiadzwa. And this special grant was granted by the Minister of Mines. Now we can actually give you copies to show when we applied for this area, we're targeting the type of gold in Taka forest. And then we applied that area just north of Taka. But during our systematic exploration, we realized that we are seeing rocks which could be diamondiferous. And then we discovered that there were diamonds. We applied to the Ministry of Mines for permission to include diamonds in our search criteria, that is in our exploration. So these two copies, one is showing permission to prospect for diamonds within Special Grant 4955, and then this other one on top is actually showing you that the mining grant was valid because the mining operations were stopped or closed in February 2016, but the license was going to expire in June 2016. So we can also give you the copy of the special grant.
Could we have the copy of the, if you don't? Okay.
I wanted to find out your special grant, how big, how many hectares were you issued on your special grant? Was it an exploration special grant, or was it a special grant to mine diamonds or gold or whatever mineral? And were you you mentioned that you were mining alluvial and you came across diamonds. Were you applying for a conversion or not? Secondly, the last question is that I just wanted to clarify, before going ahead with all this here, you had done a due diligence. What was the lifespan of diamonds or alluvial in that area?
Предыстория нашего прихода в Чимани-Мани такова. Рядом находилось очень интересное месторождение Така-Форест. И наши геологи сделали вывод, что, возможно, похожее месторождение может находиться и в районе Чимани-Мани. Из-за этого мы обратились к Министерству горных дел с просьбой открыть нам специальный грант на поиск похожего золота в районе Чимани-Мани.
The history of our discovery of diamonds in Chimani-Mani is like this. There was a discovery of gold in Taka Forest where about 100 kgs of gold per month were being produced. And our geologists thought this could be the area north of Taka Forest could also be having similar gold potential. Then using that model, that is theoretical model, we then applied for a special grant for prospecting north of Taka Forest, which was special grant 4955. Then we conducted our exploration, but we realized that we were not getting gold, but the rocks were for diamonds. Then we applied to the Ministry of Mines to include diamonds in our special grant for prospecting. Because during exploration, we could still, maybe at one of the corners of our special grant, discover gold. So we included diamonds in the special grant for prospecting. Then, after discovering, yes, we are getting diamonds here, we conducted exploration through soil sampling, diamond drilling. We hired a company from Kadoma, an indigenous company, Diamond Drill, drilled quite a number of holes so as to follow the extent of our diamond deposit. And also, in conjunction to this, we used our own rig, which we normally use for alluvial gold prospecting. We had to modify it, which we're using in Penalonga. And eventually, we calculated the reserves and we'll tell you the lifespan of the project. Discussion is late.
How many holes did you drill and how deep did you drill?
Хороший вопрос. What I want to establish, Honorable Holder, it's a very important question. I think that's what I said in terms of clarity. I think we're looking at the special grant. There was a prospecting license which was given as well. So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt since you're a miner in that regard. I think you can guide us accordingly, but I don't want it to be a question, but we need to kind of understand the documentation that they have. The first aspect is, did they have a special grant? Yes, they're saying that a special grant, but that was other questions can then follow. But your point of clarity was important, but I don't want it to go now into now asking prospecting vis-a-vis mining. That can then come in later. Members, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying there.
Chairman, the reason I was asking is that our country has not done exploration. So I was asking to say, how deep did they drill and how many holes did they drill? That will confirm the lifespan when they give us the information to say there is this sort of mineral. Because basically by diamond drilling, they're actually taking a core from as deep down which will show the different deposits within that area that they'll be mining. So I only wanted to know how many holes did they drill, because on drilling there is a cost on that. So I wanted to really understand if they drilled 4 holes, they drilled 6 holes, and how deep did they go, and were they positive results. That's basically what I wanted to say.
That's a very important question. I agree with you. But at which point do we want it? That's all I'm saying. When they finished, because it's very important, because I think it's for the first time that we are hearing a company that explored. Okay, and that's very important for us. So that question would help us when I think they've finished their summary, and you will bring it in. A very, very important question that must be brought in. So if you may allow, let's ask them to just summarize. If you can just finish it, I'll give you another 5 minutes so that you summarize. Then members of parliament then are able to ask you questions. Thanks. Members, there are those documents that have been given. They'll be going around for you to think, study. If there are any questions that you want from them, just to take note.
Скажи, у нас выстроен в Мутарах, Маникаленде, сортхаус. Мы сознательно делали все производственные помещения в Маникаленде, потому что, в принципе, месторождение в Маникаленде мы не стремились как-то в Хараре по этому вопросу. Обучали специально местных специалистов на переборке, на оценку алмазов. У нас прекрасный сортхаус выстроен в Пенелонге на территории компании. Мы очень много уделяли времени и оценки, и реализацией занимались непосредственно в Маникаленде. Должен вам отметить, господин председатель и члены парламентского комитета, что в момент реализации нами самостоятельно камней цена была примерно в 2 раза выше, чем после того, когда нас вынудили реализацией заниматься непосредственно в Хараре на общем основании под контролем Министерства горных дел.
Honorable MPs, we actually developed or built a diamond sort house in Penalonga because we realized that this is the area where we are mining the diamonds. So we have to provide employment, and we started actually training some of the locals to sort diamonds and so forth. And we are the only company which established a diamond sorting plant, which is now lying idle in Penalonga there, with all state-of-the-art security, CCTVs, cameras, and we, during our operations, the initial days, we actually fetched much higher prices. And eventually, well, sometimes the diamond price was getting low here and there.
Отметили. 2 раза. Были процесс, похвалил наш сайт. Скажи. Ну, это может не надо.
Нет,
ты прям скажи, я еще раз. Sorry. Специальная комиссия и Джока, и Кимберли процесса высоко оценила, вот, так как мы сделали сортхаус и прочие вещи. И еще раз повторю, господин председатель, в момент нашей самостоятельной реализации драгоценных камней наша цена была примерно в 2 раза выше, чем после того, когда нас заставили продавать со всеми маранговскими компаниями в одном общем пуле.
I just want to add that the Kimberley process team visited our diamond sort house in Penalonga, including Jock from Zimbabwe. They actually gave thumbs up for our diamond sort house, so that it's of high quality. Thank you.
Sorry, are there any other outstanding matters, because we would want to give the opportunity to the committee? If you have issues that do come up along the way, you are free to approach the chair, and I'll give you an opportunity to also contribute.
Я единственное хочу добавить, что мы достаточно много средств затратили на геологоразведку. Вообще в среднем, по нашей оценке и по общемировой оценке, геологоразведка на таком месторождении, как Чимани-Мани, она достаточно сложная. Занимает в среднем от 5 до 8 лет. Но нас все время торопили. Где вы, почему вы не делаете? И мы уже в процессе геологоразведки были вынуждены и открывать майн. И были затрачены значительные средства и на бурение, и на проход шурфов, и на самостоятельное бурение. И на бурение мы привлекали компании местные, которые нам бурили.
I just want to add that we spent quite a lot of resources and time on exploration. Like I said, hired a company to drill, and we drilled through diamond drill, where you get diamond core, about 35 diamond drill holes. And then we used our own rig, which we're using for gold, like I said, for infill drilling. That is drilling in between the other holes, which are widely spaced.
Еще раз хочу отметить, господин председатель и члены парламентской комиссии, мы не пришли в место, где знали, что есть алмазы. Мы с нуля нашли месторождение и развивали его методически, шаг за шагом, основываясь на нашем понимании развития бизнеса и геологоразведки. Совместно специалисты были и российские, и зимбабвийские.
Honorable MPs, I would like to re-emphasize again that we had to use our understanding, knowledge and expertise to evaluate this diamond deposit. It was not a project which was readily available.
Огромное спасибо за то, что вы нас выслушали. Мы готовы отвечать на любые ваши вопросы.
Thank you very much, honorable MPs. We are prepared to answer your questions.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, as the mine was also expanding, there was an element of displacing some villagers. So the company took it upon itself to build decent accommodation for those displaced. 3-bedroom houses and a comfortable rural-like kitchen. And the abrupt closure of the mine, it really affected, if I would say, not only 300, more than 300 employees, averaging 300 employees. I would put it about, if someone employed loses his job, a breadwinner, that's a family affected. So I would say the closure affected over 300 families. And it was company policy that the recruitment or procurement of everything will be done locally within Chimani-Mani area. Where we couldn't find expertise or material from Chimani-Mani, that's when we would outsource from other areas and from Harare. As my colleague has put it across, we had some of our students who were sent to Russia to come and work, to come and specialize in the mining fields. And also the company was absorbing some of our students who had been trained in Russia who could not find jobs, as they could easily work with our colleagues. And the shareholding structure, the shareholding we were not with the ZMDC, it was with the DTZ Zimbabwe. At holding it, the investor had 60% share and the local partner had 40% shares since 1995. And the board was comprised of 7 directors, chairmanship. The investor had the chairmanship and management contract. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
It's just a point of go on, Honorable Holder.
Thank you. This special grant, SG 5266 and 5267, how big were these special grants? Confirm that the one was 44.7 hectares and the other one was 91.7 hectares. I just want a confirmation on that. And these special grants were issued particularly for gold.
Did you get the question? Can you repeat the question, Honorable Holder?
These special grants that were issued to them were particularly for gold, alluvial gold, not diamonds. Diamonds were added later. The special grants that you were issued, 5266 and 5267, were meant for gold originally, and then diamonds were added on afterwards.
Скажи, я уже говорил, что изначально мы рассматривали перспективы Чимани-Мани именно на золото. В дальнейшем, в ходе значительных работ наших геологов, мы зацепили минералы и нашли алмаз в одной из проб, о чем немедленно было сообщено Министерству горных дел. У нас есть письма, подтверждающие это. И мы немедленно запросили, чтобы нам добавили туда и поиск алмазов. Так что действовали мы полностью абсолютно легально. В рамках закона.
If I got your question very well, I will answer this way. 5266. This one is for Penalonga. It's only that when the Minister of Mines renews this special grant, on the list they send for renewal, they will write everything on one page. So this is for Penalonga, which is basically for gold and not diamonds. Then 5267 is a mining grant within an exploration special grant. Because when we discovered that, initially it was 4955 was for prospecting for gold. But when we discovered that we are having conglomerates, which are diamondiferous, because in conglomerates, you see, like in Witwatersrand in South Africa, you can have gold, and you can have diamonds, you can have uranium, a whole range of minerals. Then when we find that we are having conglomerates, we investigated them for diamonds and requested the Minister of Mines.
But initially they were for gold.
Initially, this was an exploration special grant for gold because of the model that we have Taka Forest in the south. This is what attracted the attention.
Я надеюсь, не является преступлением искать золото, найти алмазы и сообщить об этом официально.
Honorable Member, maybe some clarification. I to assist each other here. I think this was fairly correct that we found that this area is suitable for gold and explained to the Minister of Mines and requested for inclusion of the diamonds so that we pursue with the diamond exploration and mining.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm saying initially your special grants were for gold, but you came across conglomerates which contain diamonds, and then you asked for an addition onto diamonds. So what I wanted to say is, what area space? Confirm the one is 44.7 hectares and the other one is 91.7 hectares.
Okay. Honorable Madam Manager, is it a point of clarity? Question. So let's hold it on. Just on clarity. Okay.
Sorry. I think the issue here is the issue. I'm just coming again on the question which Honorable Order just asked.
Sure.
When you applied for gold, when you were given the 44,000 or 41,000, which Honorable Order was talking about, was that the same land which you also discovered diamonds? And when you applied for the license for diamonds, were you applying within that same land, or were you applied for an extra or for additional land, or the diamonds were only found within? I think that's the question which is trying to ask, isn't it? Okay. Maybe they can also answer that one.
Order. I think if you have been following, they were doing gold mining. The special grant was for gold mining. And then while mining gold, they discovered diamonds. And then they went and said, listen, they needed to mine diamonds. And then they were given a prospective license within that area. So I think let's be guided by that. I think they've opened it up to members to ask questions. My first question to you would be, do you, yes. Chando, did you not finish?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was just another addition.
Yes, okay.
Thank you, Honorable. We really appreciate that you acknowledged that we've been, with our colleagues, the investors, we've been carrying exploration. Whilst we were mining, we had a full-time exploration department company. I would actually say we were the only mining company in Zimbabwe which had an exploration department. And to add on to this one, when the consolidation of diamonds, the idea government to consolidate, said Zimbabwe Consolidated Diamond Company came up, our colleagues offered that we to explore all minerals, not only gold, diamond, all minerals, and give Zimbabwe government data, not the way we always move around and say we have got so many reserves of diamonds, we are number so in the world, we've got some uranium, we've got platinum, but these colleagues of ours, they were at the virtue of inviting our ROSA to come and assist at no cost of Zimbabwe government. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
My question to you really would be on the takeover. Do you believe the takeover by government was proper, and what effect has that done to you as an investor in Russia?
Ну, честно говоря, мы не ожидали этого, хотя мы никогда не жалуемся. Политика компании не кричать об этом в прессе, не жаловаться, а уметь находить общий язык. Мы пришли сюда как друзья. Мы как друзья и продолжаем работать. Но скажу вам честно, для нас это был шок. Такого мы не ждали. Тем более были нарушены в момент остановки все законы, и касающиеся документов, и в отношении, например, работников компании, что меня не менее возмутило.
Honorable MPs, this closure of the diamond operations was a shock to us, especially when you look at it that we used our own knowledge and resources to discover this project, and we had future plans to expand it. So we never really went making noise about it or something, but it's a thing which affects us so much, even in our future projects in the country, because you disrupt security of tenure. That is, it's breached, and then it's very difficult to really continue with major investment projects, not only for us.
My last one from me is, you said you signed a contract with government, and you are saying government is reneging on certain clauses or conditions in the contract. What contract is it that you signed with government after the takeover?
Мы, как представители русского бизнеса, официально по этому контракту передали 60% акций компании ZCDC. И там была оговорена целая масса условий, которые до сих пор не выполняются. Сейчас мы готовим письмо претензий к ZCDC. Говорили? Или не стоит? Мы рассматриваем возможность официального обращения к ZCDC с указанием на то, что они самоустранились от выполнения контракта и ряд пунктов не выполняют.
The contract we are talking about is the contract which we eventually had to sign with the Zimbabwe Diamond Company, because we had no option rather than getting something. So in this contract, 60% of the project were surrendered to ZCDC, but there are a lot of points or some issues which have not been followed up, and now we are looking at renegotiating with ZCDC whether they really want to fulfill the requirements of the contract, or we have to be given back the project to work.
В частности, не соблюдаются договоренности наши по выплате заработной платы рабочим, по договоренности с нашими кредиторами, и целый ряд таких же финансовых вопросов. Мы вынуждены сейчас все время представлять сами себя в суде, хотя уже не имеем к этому отношения. Мы вынуждены все время затрачивать значительные средства на судебные издержки, а ZCDC при этом самоустранилась.
According to this contract, ZCDC was supposed to settle issues with our creditors, but nothing has been done. And workers, employees, now we are spending money, sometimes being dragged to court.
Этого рассматривать не будут, что это все наше, и говорить мы будем так, как мы вам предложим. Говорить так, как я говорю.
Yeah, my other comment is that we had no option. The situation is the deposit or the mine has been taken away from us, and then we are said, now let's negotiate. That's an unfair negotiation table, because
that is the reason why I asked, do you have a contract? Because there's now a contract, and you cannot then say after signing the contract, we were under duress, and we signed the contract. So the contract, they have taken over the mine. They are going to say, but we have a contract with them. In them not honoring the contract is another issue. And we equally like to have the copy of the contract so that we understand, because we can only deal with a contract which is there. And I think we must be guided by the contract. That is the reason why I'm asking that in terms of the performance of that contract, what has been the performance? But I think what is important, members of parliament, is first to have sight of the contract. I think once we have the contract, then we're able to more or less scrutinize the contract and understand it, then invite you back and ask certain questions that need to be asked. That would be my, because certainly we don't have a contract before us that you have with ZCDC, and we will end up going into areas which are really not on the contract. So maybe if you can favor us with that contract, if you could bring it to us through our committee clerk, then it would help us in understanding where things went wrong. Do you actually have it with you now?
Ну, сейчас у нас нет. К сожалению, у нас его с собой сейчас нет, мы вам в ближайшее время предоставим.
Unfortunately, we don't have the copy, but next time we can bring it.
Like I say, you can just bring it through the committee clerk so that we understand. Okay, members, I'll open this to Honorable Matamba, Honorable Chirisa, Honorable Chidakwa, Honorable Darikwa, in that order. Okay, let's just see how the first round goes. Let me take 4, and then on the second round, I'll start with Honorable Mzenda, Honorable Lengaki, Honorable Holte, Honorable second round.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Mubvunzo wangu uri kutiwo ndanzwa vachitiwo pavakavhara kambani vanzi vavhare vamiswa cooperate vane nemadiamonds avainawo, saka nai chirikumbira kunziziva kuti madiamonds 1 amwina ari kupi kwamakamachengetera kana kwaari, uyezve akawanda zvakadii pamakarats avo. Then ndokuzouya geological, ndafara zvikuru kwazvo zviziva kuti ndimune kambani iri the best and the only in a geological department ichita exploration munyika muno, and zvinoreva kuti makaita exploration yediamond munokwanisa report iyi pamaita exploration muchishanda nehurumende kana nezMDC makavapawo here mageological reports aya kuhurumende yeZimbabwe? Kana makavapa mungave here nekuziva kuti makabata mabhandi kana kuti mapin mangani, and uye zvachibudisa production yakawanda zvakadii, zvinova zvakazopa government kuti itaure kuti tave second pamadiamonds munyika pasi pano, nyika dzose tichikombera. Ndokuzouya last ndanga ndichikumbirawo ndizive kuti special grant yenyu ine makilomita mangani pakureba, ndokuzouya pakukobvuka kwawo ine mangari zvakare nokuti endezvo tiri kuziva kuti maspecial grant mamwe acho anenge akakura kusvika.
That question was already exhausted. Honorable Holder, you did.
Yes, 41.791.
Honorable members, may we follow the proceedings, please? Members of the committee, we cannot repeat questions.
41,000.
No.
He just mentioned the
It's 44.7 hectares and 91.7 hectares. That's basically what it is.
Those are the
that one is
figures.
okay.
Okay.
That's the one that's in
Okay, next question, Honorable Chiris.
My first one is a request to DTZ. Is it possible for them to give us, as a committee, the reports of their exploration? 2, they said they were doing exploration for many areas and for small-scale miners. Were they charging small-scale miners for the job done? 2, 3, how much did they put in the treasury, Zimbabwe treasury, from their diamonds? When their activities were stopped or closed, was a reason given? Were they satisfied? If not, where did they go to complain? And who is using your equipment now? Is it the government or some private company? At what cost? You said 300 families benefited from your housing scheme. Out of how many local workers? Then the board of directors, how many are locals and how many are Russians? Last but not least, what help do you want from this committee, which we can do to the best and to the best of our ability, based on our capacity? Thank you.
Through you, Honorable Chair. Okay, my first question is, what value, in terms of investment, did you put down before your command was closed? My second question is, the part of the question was asked by Honorable Chirisa, how much you have remitted to the Treasury, but we would want also to know, in terms of production, how much in monetary terms you have, in revenue terms, you have realized since before your company was closed. How much in terms of revenue you had realized. My last question, you said before you go back to your mine, you was actually found that there were 8 policemen already. The mine is already shut, closed up. Did you miss anything there? And what loss have you realized because of the closure of your company? Those are my questions. Thank you.
That one, they said there was no handover takeover, but I think your pending question, the value, what is the value of everything that they left there? Yes. Did you get that question? The value of what you think lost from diamonds to equipment to diesel, how much would you say it was? If you could put a figure to that. Can we move to the next? Yes, Honorable Mdarikwa now.
Thank you, Chair. I think most of the questions have been asked about the equipment and value. But what I wanted to come back to, the communication of the closure of the mine, was there anything in writing? And did they quote any section of the Mines and Minerals Act so that we can understand how this, you can be called for a meeting to be told the mine is closed. Was there a letter And in the letter, was there any section of the Mines and Minerals Act which was quoted in the closure of the mine? And can you favor us with the copy of the letter of the closure of the mine?
Мы можем отвечать? Господин председатель, мы уже можем отвечать на вопросы или еще будут вопросы?
Honorable Chair, can we start answering or we're still waiting for?
Sir, you can go. There's the four first questions from honorable members. I think we are exhausted with those, and then once you are done with those, then we will go to the next. But members of parliament, I want you to be very patient because things are being translated. I really want to exercise you to exercise patience, so sit back and relax. The 5 minutes that you spend on a question, it will be 10 minutes. So times 2 of the time, so we just have to be patient. Thank you.
Значит, мы по пунктам будем отвечать, потому что многие вопросы были из нескольких вопросов составлены. Это возможно?
We'll try to answer these questions just in parts, just bit by bit, because there were so many of them, if it's okay.
Members, all those are eating sweets, can they please come to the chair? You cannot eat sweets without the chair knowing. Thank you.
With your permission, Mr. Chairman, because we are emphasizing on the emphasis of time, whilst my colleague is translating to our two other colleagues, I will handle one of the questions without that, the question of board of shareholding. I've already availed the copy of contract of shareholding structure to the Parliament Secretariat, which is 4 and 3, 4 Russians and 3 Zimbabweans. As I mentioned before, the chairmanship is with the Russian investor, since he's the major shareholder. But copy is already with the Secretariat.
На момент закрытия у нас, конечно, были алмазы. И они были официально запечатаны. Их никто не вскрывал. Я не помню, через какой промежуток времени, может быть, недели через 2, нам Министерство горных дел позволило их вывести для дальнейшей реализации. Все это было официально сделано и, в принципе, в допустимых рамках правил. Единственное, что у нас были полные бункеры концентрата, в которых тоже были алмазы, подготовленные под X-ray машины, которые должны были пропуститься прежде под X-ray машины. Их судьбу мы не знаем.
Мы не можем сказать. Говорит, что будет отца. Ну, как за судьбу концентрата, мы не будем.
Так скажем, не за алмазы, за концентрат.
Да, хорошо. Yes, we had some diamonds at Chimanimani at the time of closure, but they were sealed and everything. Then, after about 2 weeks or so, the Ministry of Mines allowed us to collect them and sell. But there was a concentrate which was supposed to pass through the X-ray machine. That one we can't tell how much it was or what, and the quantities.
Question number 2. Did you give reports, exploration reports to government or not?
Ну, это то самое. Значит, по закону мы каждые полгода должны давать отчеты Министерства горных дел, Департамент геологоразведки, что мы неукоснительно постоянно делали. Подтверждающие документы на это у нас всегда есть.
Yeah, this one on exploration reports is fine. We submitted the exploration reports as is required by the law. When you have a special grant, you submit exploration reports every 6 months to the government through Geological Survey. So we submitted all those documents to the Ministry of Mines and through the Mining Commissioner's Office. They stamped acknowledging the receipt of those documents.
Yes. Let them finish. We have to manage this, and then if you have supplementary, you ask after you've done this, because is it a supplementary point of clarity? What is it? I'll only take a point of clarity. Supplementary can come up.
Thank you, Chair. Now, the matter of another changes from my diamonds, my watches, and so, ma'am, Panam, Kwansabudi, one of Mangani, Handicap, and concentrated. But then to put Suzuka, I'll copy. Kwa makachingeta my diamonds, you've been a room concentrated.
Why doesn't that? You want that's a supplement. No, those can run that out on these. Then get translation ukitika zvukutora nguva saka ndanchikumbira kuti unge mune patient ngavabvunze idzi monota down monyora masupplementary kana vapedza then mozoita supplementary topinda musecond session yemasap kune vachada kubvunzawo futi nekuti tese tikada pinda nesap omboconsulta zveshuwa tiri manje tinenge takutongorara muno. So I think I want us to just answer the questions first round, and then we'll take on supplementary.
Okay, the sizes of the special.
Okay, there's a point of clarity, Honorable Brown.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to ask from them, were they prospecting or they were mining? Thank you.
Любая горная компания сначала разведывает, потом добывает.
We first conducted prospecting, which is exploration, and then after a discovery, we then get into the mining stage. So this is what we did in Chimanimani. We prospected, and then got into the mining.
The reason why the honourable member is asking this question, your documentation talks about being given the go-ahead to prospect and not to think mine. So when you're mining, are you not supposed to have a document that says you can mine?
Yeah. На это есть отдельное. В большом выделили проспект, выделили маленький для добычи.
Okay. In the special grant for prospecting was 4955. Then, after the discovery, an application was made to the Ministry of Mines for a mining special grant, which is 5267.
Diamonds.
For the diamonds, yeah.
Okay. I think it makes us clear now, members, that yes, the grant we now see that you're allowed to mine. You may proceed.
The size of the special grant, the larger one, 4955 for prospecting, it's about 21,000
hectares. And then the one for mining, stock is there, that was 100. It's about 300 hectares or so. The small-scale miners were assisted. We were not charging them. It was just assistance, and it helps also develop the understanding of geology and mining in Zimbabwe for our company. It was for free. It was also part of our social responsibility. My colleague is just helping me there.
Then the next person, let me go to what helped one from this okay, how much did we give to Treasury? Yes.
Okay, that person.
On our submissions, Honorable Chair, on our submissions to government, as you are aware, our local shareholding is under DTZ, Development Trust of Zimbabwe. We submitted to Treasury through a royalty contribution for the period 2009 to 2015, which is up to the time we last sold our diamonds. We contributed $6,827,514. That is in terms of royalty. In that context, we had started selling our diamonds in 2012 up to 2016 when we got closed. But further to that, we also did contribute to Treasury through NASA contributions, which totaled a total of $463,873. Then in terms of payees and levies, we contributed $1,795,593. Thank you.
What we want to establish from you is that did you go through MMCZ in disposing of these the diamonds?
Yes, Honorable Chair. All our diamonds were marketed through MMCZ.
And through you, Mr. Chairman, all those records can be verified with the MMCZ for the sale of diamonds.
Can we have copies
of the sales?
Yeah, we can have a copy of the breakdown that you've given us, your contribution to the treasury.
Yes, Honorable Chair, I have a booklet which I was going to give you at the end of this presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe if you could forward it to the chair and it can go around the list in case members of parliament have anything to ask.
The next person. Yeah. Yes, just a picture. What help do you want from the committee? Here we came through the invitation of the committee and we are presenting our position that taking over of the diamond project was in breach of security of tenure. So it will also help in understanding so that such issues are not repeated, because we might want to invest in another project, let's say limestone, then our hands are tied again. We start wondering whether to invest in that project or not. Then we are quite prepared to go back to mining because this was our interest.
Скажи, мы простить не умеем, мы дружить хотим и работаем.
We cannot ask, but we like being friends and work in a friendly manner. Следующий вопрос. What investment value before company was closed? What investment value? Сейчас. Это сколько инвестиций до закрытия? Сколько он? Сколько?
The other question which is important is after the thing closure, what did you do? Where did you go? That's from Honorable Chirisa. You can respond to that one as well.
We contacted the minister and the permanent secretary and suggested to resolve this issue.
What became of that meeting that you had with the minister in resolving the issue? Did you resolve or you did not resolve?
Что была, какая реакция была? Что было? А как ответить? Что мы должны войти в минимум компанию, когда мы закрыли. Даже ответили они, что в принципе готовы переговоры.
They told us that in principle they were prepared to enter into discussions with us.
Ну, скажи, с нами слишком незаконно поступили. Некуда было девать.
But for us this was unfair and we had nowhere to go. So we had just to follow their guidelines and that's how the discussion went.
Yes, Honorable Mdarikwa had asked a question about, do you have a letter of thing closure? What did it say?
Не, нас объявили официально на собрании. Да.
Honorable Chair, we were given a letter which was more of a blanket letter which was just indicating every mine has been closed, and they mentioned that our special grant had expired. We wrote back contesting on that decision because our papers showed that our special grants were still valid, but they insisted on that. Unfortunately, we didn't bring the letter with us at the moment, but we can always provide it to you, Chair.
I think we would really appreciate that if we could get to that documentation, the letter of closure, and you having to appeal that your special grant is still valid, it would assist. I'll go to the right. decide now.
Thank you, Chair.
Hold on, yes. Yes.
One question on the local, the housing scheme, 300, out of how many?
На момент закрытия в Чумане-Мане у нас на шахте находилось 200 зимбабвийских работников и один инженер русский.
At the time of, I think what we are saying is, at the time when the company was closed, the total number of employees were about 300. Not that these employees were given houses. So this was the number of employees who were working. And there was one Russian engineer who was working there. The rest were locals.
How many benefited out of the 300?
Probably through you, Mr. Chairman. The houses, it's me who brought about the construction of houses. Those houses which we built were for relocation when the mining was expanding. So some people villagers had to be moved. These were not houses for employees. For employees, you will see from another document, we had applied some space in Penalonga to do a compound for our employees, which was different. So those houses I referred to were for relocation, not for employees, because the project was still in its infancy. But of course, we were going to look into that.
With the order that on this side, but you have a follow-up.
Yeah.
It's a new question or follow-up?
It's a follow-up.
Okay.
It's my new question, I think.
Okay, what's the follow-up?
Thank you, Chair. Just on the follow-up on the issue of the closure of the company, considering what you have gone through up to the closure of your company, and we are now in the new dispensation, you have indeed covered the company in terms of operations. What will be your comment in terms of Zimbabwe being the best destination in terms of investment now?
На новое время сейчас надеемся, что новое время рассмотреть.
Скажи, совсем до недавнего времени наши прогнозы были очень пессимистичны. Но в связи с резким изменением курса и политики государства, экономической, смотрим, в принципе, с перспективой. Важно понять, как будет дальше.
Thank you very much. We anticipate that things will improve. But as things were before the new dispensation, we had lost hope. We are still to see, but we have a lot of hope for better conditions for investment.
Okay, can we have questions?
Yes. Mine has been answered already.
Yours have been answered.
Thank you.
Honorable Madueko.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before mining diamonds, you were getting 100 kgs of gold a month. Was this closed as well?
Когда еще не начали завод алмазы, вы получили где-то 100 килограммов в месяц. Это было закрыто тоже?
Ну, скажи, 100 килограммов в месяц мы никогда не добывали. Это было закрыто в 2013 году, в октябре 2013 года, когда закрыли и все остальные майны по добыче алювиального золота.
Забывали нам сказать, 25, да? 30-25.
Что? Окей. Рассказывай, что страница 10.
Отвечай, как я сказал.
Ага.
Загрузись. Скажи, в среднем мы добывали 25 тысяч килограмм.
Thank you very much. We did not produce 100 kgs per month, but we were producing 20 to 25 kgs per month at our Chimani, 20 to 30 in Penalonga. That is where we had the alluvial gold project, which was closed in 2013. October 2018.
Когда закрыли все остальные компании. Хорошо. Когда в стране запустили.
This is when all alluvial gold mining were closed in the country in October 2018.
Any questions from the other outstanding question is the equipment that you left. Where is it? Did you enter an agreement that they use it, compensate you? What is the position?
Часть оборудования мы передали по контракту, часть нам обязались вернуть. Но вопрос еще спорный, мы этот вопрос решаем.
Okay. Part of the equipment were surrendered to ZCDC, Zimbabwe Diamond Company, under the contract. But some of the equipment we are supposed to take it. But because ZCDC has not paid some creditors, we can't take that equipment.
Sure.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I understand last year you signed the MOU with the Minister of Mines. So what was the contents of the MOU?
Скажи, вы, наверное, путаете нас с кем-то. Нам таких контрактов не предлагали ни разу.
Honorable, I think maybe there's a little bit of mix-up because we never had such an MOU with them. Maybe you're mixing up with somebody else.
Last year in April, the minister came to Parliament, the former minister, Minister Chitafa, and he reported to Parliament that he signed an MOU with you, DTZ.
У нас не было, у нас подписан контракт с ZCDC, но никаких контрактных обязательств или МОУ с Министерством горных дел не существует.
We don't have an MOU with the Minister of Mines as such, but after the discussions on the diamond concessions, we signed a contract with the CDC. Probably this is what he meant or something like that, but no contract, MOU with the Minister of Mines.
Then that contract, what was the contents of the contract?
Мы его представим, но я уже говорил о передаче наших акций, как акционеров в компании с российской стороны.
Okay, we shall bring it, but in brief, this was about surrendering our share holding from our Russian company to ZCDC in summary.
And you signed the 50%, you signed that you're going to get 50% into the consolidation.
Вы писали, что вы будете 50% в консолидации или нет? сказали, что у вас будет 50% консолидации.
Я немного не пойму, о какой консолидации. Консолидации у нас никакой не было. У нас фактически все насильно забрали, а потом вынудили нас договариваться. Так и переводим.
It's not so clear to me. We did not take part in the consolidation. What happened is the project was taken away from us, and then we were like forced or had to sign a contract.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Are you confirming that you signed that contract under duress? You were somehow forced to sign the contract, and you don't even understand what that contract means that you signed?
Ружье мне к виску никто не ставил, но, в принципе, те условия, которые были созданы в течение 2 лет, пока мы договаривались, вынудили нас согласиться на те условия, на какие изначально мы бы никогда не пошли. Потому что мы потеряли значительную часть собственных инвестиций, и их никто не учел.
Yes, we obviously signed this under duress because we had no option. But, like I'm saying now, that no one really came to us and say sign with armed. But the conditions were so unfavorable that if you don't sign, then you stand to lose out. That's the condition which...
Изначально мы хотели развивать, во-первых, геологоразведку, подземную добычу. В наших планы входили, и мы занимались разработкой подземной добычи, потому что на Чимани-Мане необходимо заниматься прежде всего подземной добычей. Были планы это лет на 20-25.
We had plans to really work on this deposit for 10 to 20 years, see. And the plan was, in Chimani-Mani, we only worked about 20 meters deep. We wanted to go underground with this deposit. And all the dreams have been shut.
This mine is 80 kilometers away from Tare. And in terms of consolidation, ZCDC took all the Marange resources, diamond resources there, and put them into one company. Are they doing anything on it right now?
Я не могу ответить вам на этот вопрос. Нас туда с начала того, как закрыли, пустили всего 1 раз или 2 раза. И то под надзором и под контролем.
Honorable MP, after the closure, we were only allowed to be there once or twice, so I can't tell what is happening there at the moment.
Вот и судите, как можно подписывать контракт, если даже на собственную шахту твою тебя не пускают до подписания контракта.
You look at this situation. Even before signing the contract, where you were mining, you are not allowed even to be there. So it means the conditions, actually, you are under duress. You have to sign or you lose out.
Would you say the takeover was done in a mafioso kind of style, or there was some corporate governance? Is this what you'd expect a government to do?
Я не прокурор и не судья, мне трудно судить. Есть парламент, есть судейские органы, пусть они вынесут правильное решение. А мы законопослушные граждане, и в России здесь мы всему подчинимся.
And I want to pay your attention. What do you think if investor was invited by government, private company, he was invited by Russian government because it was agreement between the two sides, and the company spent a lot of years, invite investors, spend a lot of money to prospecting for diamond, for gold, for different minerals, and they found themselves, which is the managing director, they found themselves, geologists, mineral deposits, they spent again invest for mining, and both of project was stopped over day, just come and stop. When first project was stopped, we never panic, we never give any interview, any journalist, and after 2 years, another diamond project was just stopped like this. What do you think, how people can companies survive? And of course, credits come and workers, we keep some number of workers, some months, and of course we understand, we expected different attention. We expected if something, there is government program or something changing, they want to change some regulations, they're supposed to invite us for table and explain nicely and give us chance to move for another projects or something like this. Not come with 80 people with machine guns.
Maida Basache, ndanga ndichikumbira ndinzise kuti zvavari kutaura zvinorwadza, asi ndinofunga kuti inini hamuna kunge manzi here winzai zvamaifanira kuprovida kuti vawane information segovernment mukakwanisa kumita their what zvavaida kuti vadi muvaprovide in terms of production, because mostly makambani enye ediamond aiva achisvorwa pa hurumende percentage yaifanira kupirwa. Imimi hamuna kuwanikwa here muri mukati memakambani aya ekutadza kusubmita royalty yaiva iri pamutemo pakuti musubmit, zvakaita kuti ministry in behalf of government itsamwe ministers that type of action yekuti stop, everybody stop. You were not affected in that group?
I think Honorable Matamana, they've sent a circular ndosaka ndakumbira kuti ma royalties zvese zvakabhadhara wani NASA document iri kupi, so iyo document iyo demateresera manzwa zvataurwa vanga vatotaura vasati vatipa document vataura ma royalties vakabhadhara 6 million if I'm not mistaken. NASA
anoenderana here, Chairman, anoenderana here 27 million out of diamond. It's too small maybe.
I think kana mchidaka one watati I think records awo ese ekumaina ane MMCZ nhasi masikati tine MMCZ saka togona kuvakumbira kuti vape marecords awo vatipe tozoverifya handizve.
But Chairman, ivo vari apa kandovati that's why vauya kuti vabvunzeka free imakutipindura.
But
I'm asking where should I read you wakagara.
But then what I'm saying
to tune my mind in a wrong way.
What I'm saying, Honorable Member, is that the question you are asking.
My question is very valid. Listen carefully.
But
and remember, the government. I don't think.
I think your question that you're asking has been answered, and it is there. In the, she mentioned she went through the royalties paid, 6 million. I can tell you if I'm not mistaken. She went through NASA 400 and something thousand. She went NASA. It was about 1 million. So the figures are down there. So your question was answered by her verbally.
How many production? How many carats?
But then what? And then I asked a question as well, that how did you sell your diamonds. They said through MMCZ. Members, I think I asked that question through MMCZ. So what we can ask is, okay, can you give us records of your sales through MMCZ? MMCZ is coming in the afternoon and verify those figures. So if you can give us your, I think, sales records, would really appreciate that.
Yes, because they must come here prepared to answer us. Yes.
No, I think
come here without MMCZ, they are coming here to answer their questions. And then they should also answer their questions. If we ask them if they were running this company clear and smart to follow the government rules. Yes, that's what we want. We want to know who is wrong, to close them or to chase them and to stop them by that power, by that force. What drives the government to do so? This is why I'm asking. I want to come out here with a clear answer. As an MP, and then I go and explain
I think, honourable member, the government, there are laws in this country. If the government feels that they must take over, you should have asked, did they have a court order? I think we are here to respect all pillars of the state. And there is never at any time where the police go and take over without the messenger of court. There's a messenger of court or deputy sheriff who has a court order. And on the assistance of the police can go and take over. So I think your question, if we want to address these issues, is was there a court order which allowed this takeover? Outside the court order, you are a legislator. What other powers does government have to take over willy-nilly? Maybe you can help us, but what we know is that there must be a court order which allows the takeover of anything. And when there's a court order missing, so why did government not then respect the laws of this country? We cannot be, as a committee, allow mafia-type takeovers sitting here. And this is what we are hearing as oral evidence. It's up to us now in terms of deliberations to also recommend, after we've heard what we've said, but those deliberations also come out from the facts presented in that. Is there a court order that got government to take over?
Yeah, Chairman, I understand what you're saying. What I want to tell you from my understanding, as a business person who owns some of the buildings, it's same as just as good as this company. They were given, a mandate with the government or a lease. And it doesn't mean that if they make mistakes against that lease and breach the condition of the lease, it doesn't mean that every company or any else should go through the court. No. Just give me to explain. Honourable member. Even the ministry. Honourable power to stop them. Isn't it?
They explained, honourable members, that we even wrote to government when they took over and said our special grant is still valid.
But they preach.
No, the government. The government gave them a special grant.
That's what the minister.
I think. Let us make progress. Honourable Gumbo. Yes, Honourable Chitago.
I was on the round question, the second round.
Okay. I'll bring you in after Honourable Chitago. Sorry.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. It's clear that the whole process which took place, these guys are not happy up to now, which we are agreeing with them. But there is a Russian embassy in this country. Did they ever try?
We cannot have another meeting. No. It can't be a show every day. I think let us stick to the core business why we are here, or else. No, but this really makes a mockery of what we think stand for. It really makes a mockery of what we stand for.
Through you, Chair, I wanted to know whether they tried to engage their embassy to negotiate with the government on their behalf, because they are really aggrieved. They were not happy, but they have their representative in this country who could probably negotiate with the government on their behalf. They tried that route.
Да, конечно. Первый наш шаг после написания письма, копию такого же письма мы отправили в посольство и председателю комиссии с российской стороны, межправкомиссии с российской стороны, господину Мантурову, и с кратким изложением всего происходящего. Но в дальнейшем все время мы чувствуем поддержку Российской Федерации и в те годы, и сейчас.
Нас поддерживает.
Безусловно, министр Мантуров и посол обращались в необходимые органы, встречались с людьми и обсуждали эту проблему.
Законно с нами. Компенсировать, если компенсировать, то компенсировать в полную силу.
Сейчас понял. Yes, Honorable Minister, after the closure, we went to our embassy, and our embassy every time supports us. And actually, Minister of Industry, Minister Manturov, we understand he engaged the Minister of Mines, Mr. Sagurendela, and the Vice President of Zimbabwe on the issue.
I think we're a committee of integrity and dignity. We cannot have a situation where you are engaging him without coming through the chair. And I think when you are before us, can we follow the thing rules? Can you withdraw the card? Let's have order. The next thing is to be money that will be going across. We will not allow that.
Я приношу прощение.
No, can you take your card back, and you can meet afterwards, not when we are having these deliberations.
I am sorry.
The follow-up is. Thank you, Honorable Chair. They said the minister engaged the vice president. Which vice president? We had two vice presidents then, and what was the outcome? Were they happy with the outcome, or it was just an engagement and nothing comes out as well?
Господин министр Мантуров обсуждал эту проблему и с президентом, его превосходительством Мугабе, и с вице-президентом Поку, и лично с министром Чидаква. При этих встречах было заверено, что будут найдены компромиссы.
Honorable Chair, yes, our Minister Manturov discussed with the former President, Comrade Robert Mugabe, and former Vice President Mpoko, and also with former Minister Chidakwa, Minister of Mines, and they said there will be a compromise to the issue to see that there's some amicable understanding.
Okay, Honorable Gumbo.
Can I have a follow-up on that?
Let's have Honorable Gumbo. And then.
Thank you, Chair. We appreciate this project and the contribution both for the investor and the country. It is, however, not very clear at what stage the investor had got to. Why I'm saying this, there is three distinct stages in the kind of exploration they were doing. There is the exploration initially, then there is the middle stage called the evaluation stage, which includes both exploration and production, normal on a smaller scale or on a pilot plant. Then there is the full-scale production, which will involve mining and processing. Obviously, to appreciate their position, I think they need to clarify to us what stage they were among those three.
Скажи, спасибо, хороший вопрос. Ну, в принципе, в стадии развития, в самом начальном. Мы только развивали разведку, только поставили фактически фабрику. И были планы вести масштабную разведку и увеличивать добычу. Ничего этого нам не позволили сделать.
Thank you very much. That's a quite interesting question. We followed all the process of evaluation from exploration, that is, from exploration, mine development, and we also even established a state-of-the-art plant. But we still had future plans to expand our processing plant, the diamond processing plant. For example, if we had gone to mine underground, then we're going to increase our tonnage and we need then a bigger plant.
I think I'll close off this session if there are no further questions. I think we've been here for a long time, and I think the committee has done justice, and I think we'll meet in the deliberations. I want to thank you. Yes. And you know, Honorable Nduna, as a former chairperson, you know you must have a tie. You must have a tie. Sorry. Okay, I think what is important is what we need for recommendations. If you can also give us figures on the debt, what you were sitting on, the value of what you lost. If you can all be put in black and white and forwarded to the committee clerk, I think it will assist us. I don't know, Honorable Hood, I thought that would certainly assist us. Yeah.
I think they're also supposed to provide us with a signed contract that they signed under duress. Thank you.
I think we did indicate that we would want that contract as well. Thank you very much for attending this session. We really appreciate your time. Sorry we're late in starting, but we're just going through the housekeeping issues in preparation for this meeting. We look forward to forwarding the documents that we have asked of you to forward to us, or any other document that you think would be relevant to us. But we are happy with the information that we received from you. If we need more information, we'll have to invite you again to come before us. I want to say to you that you are protected by the privileges and immunity that is bestowed within Parliament. So you can't be threatened. Any threats or anything that happens to you, may you please let Parliament know. Thank you.
Огромное вам спасибо. Скажу вам честно, за последние 3 года мы привыкли, что нас все время бьют, а не расспрашивают. Поэтому мы очень признательны вам за такое отношение. И, честно говоря, я, как инвестор, чувствую большие перемены в государстве и смотрю с большим позитивом. Мои коллеги, я уверен, присоединятся к моим словам. И огромное вам еще раз спасибо.
Thank you very much. We're used that the past 2 years or so, someone was just beating us, whipping us. So I'm seeing a major change, and we hope this spirit will continue, and we can also really think of other diamond investment projects or gold or whatever in this country. And I think my colleagues here are also having the same feeling that really investment processes are being appreciated in Zimbabwe.
Ну, скажем, мы готовы работать и привлекать партнеров из России. Есть большой интерес. Все ждут повышения, потепления инвестиционного климата, а с удовольствием придут. Зимбабве для нас дружеская страна, и мы рассматриваем вас как друзей и братьев.
Zimbabwe is a very friendly country to us, and at the moment we have so many Russian investors who are just asking us every day, waiting, sitting on the fence. They want to come to Zimbabwe, but they are waiting for at least the investment climate to start warming up. That is for the improvement of the investment climate.
Thank you very much. We enjoy a good relationship with Russia, and we want to ensure that you keep on doing business in Zimbabwe. And as the Committee on Mines and Energy Parliament, we ensure that the right things happen. And would like to attend some of your shows so that we can enjoy some Russian vodka. Thank you. If you could just stay behind, thank you. Accused.
Maitaba sabab.
Yeah, now we'll allow you to give us cards. I'll get mine from the chairman. Chairman. Joe. You want to down.
Thank you, welcome.
Thank you. How do you say thank you, right?